All right, this will be the day trading recap for Tuesday, August 4th, 2026. So let's take a look at the market. Similar to yesterday, price has been in this long, higher time frame, balanced range, just peeking its head above here at the beginning of May. Past few days, we tested the low of this balance and had a nice strong rip right into the highs, which we've actually broken above in the pre-market, and price is now sitting in this structure supply zone, which you can't really see the origin of that in the picture, so we'll look at that real quick. It's just this consolidation area followed by a nice big drop. Here I'm looking at the 4 hour, but you could see it also on a couple other time frames. 3 hours all cooked up. Here it is on the 2 hour consolidation drop. Anyways, that's where price is right at open. So a few main scenarios I'm watching. Here's this look. So one, if price rejects hard at open, rejects out of supply, I'm not going to rush to shorts, because if price does reject this higher time frame balance high, it could easily go all the way to the mean. So there's a long way for price to sell off. So if it just sells off right at open, I'm not really looking to catch anything in here, but if we can break back under that 7,650, I believe it was, area, then I would be looking for shorts to then target a mean reversion. Now, if price just opened up strong, I was fine to take continuations, to just simply take this continuation of the recent strength. And then third scenario I was watching was another short play, but it was a preemptive short. It was before we broke back under the 7,650. I was watching a couple things. If price opened up upwards but wasn't very strong, maybe broke a high by 5 points or so, started to slow down and look to reject, or if there was like an aggressive failed break of pre-market high, something in that nature that could signal me sellers are in the picture, I was kind of watching that just for a supply rejection play. So those are my three scenarios. Let's get into the market. Price opens up, rallies, breaks this pre-market high by about 10 points, starts to sell off a bit. And let's just go through the analysis. I was a bit in between on two different things here. Alright, so first thing to note, on this opening drive, we created a nice low volume node here. This low volume node Okay. Low volume node starts to get it doesn't get tested. We sell off, but we don't quite push into this low volume node. We have a bid supporting price about 3-4 points above this low volume node. So I'm at this point, I'm really waiting for a nice sharp pullback into the low volume node to hold for a long entry to try the upside. Now what happens is I start to see development that signals me we might be going short here. So this first aggressive sell-off fails. I'm waiting for a pullback. Doesn't happen. Push up again. I'm like, all right, the move's going to happen without me. But then it sells off again, makes a lower low, adds all this liquidity, offers are loading in. So then I'm thinking, all right, I'm still just waiting for that pullback. I'd like longs out of this low volume node. Price reverses again. It goes up. This time makes a third, or I guess it's technically a second. This is the first lower high relative to this high. Second lower high relative to both of these. And look how small that buying is right there. That tiny, tiny dot, exhaustion. Seeing this buying fail, it gets exhausted on a lower high. Some selling starts to come in with these offers right here. That's enough for me to take this short. But I did go with a reduced risk size because it's not going against my plan. This was technically scenario 3, but it is kind of going against my scenario 1 that could be potentially playing out with this low volume node right here. So I just took this small size, looking for a nice push into this low volume node to where I'd be watching the reaction to see if I want to hold it or cut it for more. Now price did not do what I wanted to. I get in right here at 68.75, and price just immediately shoots up to stop me out at 72.50 right up here. So it took a very quick, what is that? 3.5 point loss on one contract, nothing major at all. This confirmation in context and supply was worth taking a shot at. It just did not work out. And just didn't freak out about the loss, accepted it, and moved on. So now what's happening? Price is continuing to rally. It's stopped me out, and now we're pulling back again. So let's take a look at the entry here. Here's our original low volume node. Here's where those original pullbacks started to fail. So I marked out, when I got stopped out of this short here, I then marked out this area because it's clear sellers are being absorbed down here. There's not a heavy buildup in delta, but it's clear that large buyers are failing to push lower. On top of that, it's a low volume node. I didn't have it marked out, but this whole little region, pretty much all the way from down here to 58 to 68, besides this center area, is a nice low volume node. So we have low volume node, we have absorption in the low volume node. On this pullback, nice sharp aggressive pullback right into the level. You can see it's kind of absorption turned into exhaustion. It's hard to tell exactly, but it's met with this just straight up buying reaction. And I wanted to get in, press enter somewhere around here. I ended up getting filled all the way at 72.5, all the way up here with a stop loss at 67.25, so a little bit heavier on the risk. I went 2 contracts in this with 5.25 point stop. It's a little bit heavy, but it is what it is. I knew I wanted to go 2 contracts on it. It was just not slippage on the entry, just a little bit of unluckiness. I was watching, had to get my cursor to the right spot to hit buy, and by that time I lost a point or two. But it worked out, so I'm not mad about it. I get this nice opening rally, a little bit of push after my entry down here at 72. Offers start to load in. We sell off a bit, hold that pullback, push up, hold for a little bit, and then we get a nice aggressive rip. On this nice aggressive rip, I trail. My original target for 2R, since I'm risking a bit more, is 83s. I get out that first scale at 80.75, right about in here. Not looking to be perfect on these trades. Pulls back, price starts to go up a little bit more. I'm trailing my stop loss. At this point, when we break the high, I trail it to 82, right in here. Price moves up a little bit more. I go downstairs for a minute. By the time I'm back, I'm stopped out. I might have trailed a little bit higher if I would have been on to do that. However, was not. So let me do the math on how many points I made real quick. So I made 8.875 points on that, which is 1.69 R. Not the best, but again, we're not looking to be perfect in this game, especially just getting back from time off. I got a good entry. It was a little bit later than I wanted to. Move happened I wanted, got some good scale outs. I will say I was originally targeting 7,700, which could have hit for obviously another nearly $100 just on one contract. But it is what it is. I would have had to sit through this massive pullback to hold. But yeah, pretty solid day. Like 5-ish points on the day, but profit was decent because for probably one of the first times ever, my loss was sized down and my win was sized up. Usually if I have something like that, it's the opposite. But yeah, that's going to be it for this video. Peace.